Well, hello there. This is Jim. I'm back to you one more time. Again, I want to talk to you a little bit about the vision, the assignment God has given Carla and I to help people write their testimony and put it in threefold flyers like this. Tell a little segment about what their life was like before Christ, tell how they came to know Christ, and what their life is like after Christ. You know, there should be a difference. If you've been converted or changed, there should be a difference after the fact. And so keep that in mind. And then the other thing is that we've taken these type of things and developed testimonies and developed them into books like these. We have our Lighthouse edition. We have edition 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And all the people on the back cover are part of these particular books. This is edition 5, edition 6, edition 8, edition 9. And we've taught all these folks to carry these books and use them in daily life, to lead a daily witnessing lifestyle, and to look at the issues of life or the bombardment of darts from the enemy that come against us in daily life, not as a reason to quit, but to use those things as a reason to share the gospel, to look at those as opportunities to share the gospel. Then we have Lighthouse 6 in Spanish. We have the Real Life Stories Truckers edition that's being used in truck stops all over the country. And we have the Inmate to Inmate book that's being used in prisons and jails all over the country. And then I want to talk to you about our best book. This is the book that I have seen open up people's hearts so quickly, and people just love it. And it's Real Life Stories Real Life Stories Veterans Edition. The Real Life Stories Veterans Edition features the stories of the 27 people on the back cover. Powerful, powerful book. Now, like the Truckers book, this took a long time to happen. I think this one took over 6 years. So the Truckers book took 5, this one took 6. We still want to do a Bikers edition, and it's going on 7 years, I think, since we wanted to do that. And we also want to do a First Responders edition with police officers' testimonies and firemen and paramedics. So if you're a paramedic, police officer, or fireman, give us your story. Let's use it if you're born again. If you want to be in the Bikers edition, you're a biker. Let's get your story. Let's get it out there. Let's use it to reach lost souls. But anyway, back to the Veterans Edition book. The Veterans Edition book has been in print for 1 year as of May. So a month, 1 year and 2 months old, roughly. During the first year, 84,000 copies of this book went out. During year number 1, 84,000 copies. Now the amazing thing about this is that these books are going into any organization that has anything to do with veterans, and everybody loves them. You can look at this display. This is our Real Life Stories book display, and it contains 36 books in that display. And it is amazing to me how VA clinics have been so open, how VA cancer centers have been open, how VA hospitals have been open. I have a friend, his name is Carl. He took books like this into the 3 biggest hospitals, VA hospitals, in the city of Boston, Massachusetts. The 3 biggest hospitals. You walk in and there's displays with these veterans books right there where people can get them. It's just an amazing thing how God is using this particular book. People just love these books. And let me tell you something I learned and how I learned it. Carla and I were in a restaurant, and our server, a young lady, did a fabulous job. And at the end of the meal, I took a book like this one and I autographed it, put her name in it, and thanked her for the great service. And when she came to the table, I read to her the note that I had put in the book, the autograph that I had put in the book. And she smiled from ear to ear, and she was so happy to get that book. I mean, she just loved it. But when I handed it to her, I handed her 2 books, the veterans book underneath it. And when she got back past the one and she seen the veterans, oh my, I know all kind of veterans. My uncle's a veteran, my cousin's a veteran, my brother's a veteran, my neighbor's a veteran. And she rattled off the names of about 6 veterans, like boom, boom, boom. And when she said all of that, I said, look, I've got 6 more veteran books in my bag. If I give them to you, would you put them in the hands of those veterans? And she said, yes, sir. I would love to do that. And then the more we would use the regular books, I would find that everybody knows a veteran. So I quit giving away 1 book at a time. I now give away 2 books at a time, and the veterans book is always one of the 2 books. Everybody knows a veteran. Everybody loves veterans. America loves its veterans. I mean, it's simple. And everybody knows a veteran. And so it's such a natural book to give it away, because no matter who you give it to, that person knows somebody who's a veteran. And it always starts conversations. When somebody looks at it, they'll say, I was a veteran, or my brother was a veteran, or my cousin was a veteran. It starts a conversation to where you can inquire more about that person's life or the people that they know who are veterans, and it always gives an opportunity to give away more books and enlist those people into helping you share the gospel or sow the gospel into the community. This is so easy. One of the ways I love to use it is when we go out for breakfast or something, or go into a restaurant. I remember one place in particular. It was such a joy-filled moment, but sad in a way, but such joy in another way. We were in a restaurant, and I was sitting there, and Carla and I looked across, and in comes an older couple with a veteran's hat on. And about 2/3 through our meal, I felt to go to their table, and I walked over to the table and said, sir, I would like to thank you for your service. And you know, my wife and I just happened to be authors, and we wrote this book about veterans, and this is your copy. I'd like to give this to you. And he opened up, and he started sharing with me how he was a World War II vet, and he was on one of the big mine-sweeping ships during the war, and how him and his crew and ship would go out and clear the way of passage so the other boats could get through. And you could tell it just meant so much to him that I took the time to acknowledge him and to speak to him. And while I'm talking to him, his wife is broken down in tears. She is just crying. So anyway, at the end of our meal, I went back and I just said goodbye and shook his hand. And the wife looked at me. She said, you have no idea how much this meant to him today. And I want to thank you so much for the book, and thank you for coming over, and thank you for talking to us. It was just such a moment to hear this man. He was in his 90s, to hear his story, and you know, just to think about him being on this mine-sweeping ship, and it was precious. It was such an honor to be there and talk to him. And so one of the ways this book can be used is you just carry him with you anytime you go out to eat. I guarantee you, if you carry 5 books with you and you go sit down in any restaurant, you will have anywhere between 1 and 5 veterans walk in during the course of your meal to where you can offer them a book. It's that easy. And I've only had 2 veterans who have refused books from me in a year that we've been year and 2 months that we've been doing this, and in both cases they had bad vision and they could not read. That's the only 2 that refused. Other than that, all the others have received them very warmly, very openly, and there's no limit to this. You know, if you're willing to work and you're willing to get out there and sow the gospel, God makes a way to make things happen. I just want to tell you a quick story about one of the fellows who's on the back cover. His name is Carl. You know, Carl lives in the New England states, and he has taken it upon himself that he is going to distribute books in the New England states to all the VA hospitals, all the VA clinics, American Legions, VFWs, anything to do with veterans. And he not only does that, but he also takes them into police stations, fire stations, ambulance stations, dialysis centers, senior citizen centers, hospice centers, the local hot dog place, the hamburger place. I mean, he's just out there sowing the love of God and the gospel message. And I kid you not, in the last year and 2 months, Carl's been averaging at least 18 cases of books a month every month that he has been distributing throughout the New England states. One man, sowing all that seed of the gospel. If Carl can do that, what can each of us do? I mean, it's just totally amazing the way that God is using these books. And you know, you hear this stuff sometime, well, the government, that's government. The VA's government. The VA's government. You got to have this separation between church and government, church and state. Well, you know, the beauty of this, it don't look like church. This doesn't look like church at all. These guys on the back, they don't look like church. There's nothing churchy about this. This book's all about veterans giving hope to veterans. This is about honoring the veterans who served and using their lives and what they've learned to help bring hope to other veterans. It's as simple as that. To my knowledge, in the time we've been doing this, a year and 2 months, I think there's only been one American Legion that said no, and it was because the postmaster wasn't there and the second person in charge wouldn't do it. And there's been one hospital that said no. But this book is now, right now, in 100 hospitals, VA clinics, cancer centers, and many other places. It is just totally amazing what God is doing with this book. Now, I said all that to say this. There's a VA clinic near you. There's a VA hospital near you. There's some VA type organization near you that could use this book to help veterans bring hope to other veterans. I live in Indiana. I can't get him at the clinic in San Diego. I live in Indiana. I can't get him to the Seattle Veterans Association. I can't get him to the Florida one. I can't get him to the Boston one. Thank God Carl got him to the Boston one. But we need people in every state that would just simply be willing to carry a case of books into these places and explain it the same way I just explained it. You don't say nothing about God. You don't say nothing about Jesus. You don't say nothing about church. You simply say, my friend Jim writes books. He helped these 27 veterans publish and print this book. And now we're giving thousands of them away for free. And it's all about veterans giving hope to veterans. Do you have a place we can put these to help the veterans in this community? And the answer will be yes. It always is. Said all that to say this: we need your help. This is a big vision. This is a God idea. How big is this vision? Let me tell you. Bigger than Jim. Bigger than all of us. We have printed to date 1.85 million books. Get a hold of that number. 1.85 million books. You're talking mom and pop ministry. We got no staff. We got no office. We got no nothing other than Jesus. We got Jesus and a God idea to print testimonies and books and give them away. We've printed 1.85 million. We've given away 1.7 million as I speak. Souls are getting saved all over the country because of it. We just did our third printing of this book, the Veterans Edition book. 84,000 have already gone out. 44,000 more have just come in. Google VA clinic in my city. Google VA clinic in my county. And you will find these places are all over. Ask God how you can help. Maybe he won't tell you to get a case and take them in. Maybe he'll tell you buy a case. Maybe he'll tell you to donate for a case. For $70, we can get a case of these books, 72 books out, any place in the country for $70. Maybe he wants you to help in that way. Whatever the way he wants you to help, pray about it. Ask God how he might have you help. However he says, obey him. Do it. This is a big vision. Yeah, we've given away 1.75 million or 7 million, and we've printed 1.85 million. But about 2 years ago, God said to me, 3 years now, he said, Jim, that was just practice. We had given away the first million. I said, God, what do you mean that was just practice? He said, that was just practice, just getting you warmed up. Now I want you to give away 1 million books a year. I said, God, how are we going to do that, God? Who's going to pay for all this, God? Well, how's this going to happen, God? And the only answer I've gotten for 3 years is this: keep giving away books. And when the checkbook gets low, I say, God, what are we going to do? Keep giving away books. But God, how's this going to happen? Tell me something, God. Keep giving away books. That's all I get. Keep giving away books. So we're going to keep giving away books. And we're geared up. We have a warehouse big enough to house 1 million every year to pass through there. We have the equipment to move them. We've got people who want to use them in various places of the country. I don't know how God's going to pull this all together, but I know He is. He doesn't do half a vision. He does a whole vision. And now He said, give away 1 million books a year. This year we'll probably hit 300,000. Sometime down the road we're going to hit 400,000. Some year after that we're going to hit 500,000. But when it's all said and done, we're going to be giving away 1 million books a year. How do I know that? It's a God idea. It's a God vision. It's way bigger than Jim and Carla. And I want to just say this at this moment. I want to say thank you to everyone who has ever helped. Anyone who's ever wrote the story for a book. Anyone who's ever donated $1. Anyone who's ever helped in any way, thank you. Thank you. Souls are getting saved because of what you've been willing to do. So pick up the phone and call. We got a warehouse with veterans' cases of books stacked up, ready to go. Order your case today. Find a place in your community that you can put them. We'll get them shipped off to you as soon as we can. We hope to hear from you soon. Thank you for taking the time to listen to us. God bless you. Call that number, 219-762-7589. Let's help the veterans.